in Southern California.
Tonight on World News, storm surge. Ike strengthens into a dangerous hurricane and aims for the U.S. Will New Orleans get hit again? And what role is global warming playing in all of this? To the rescue, the federal government announces an extraordinary takeover of two wobbly pillars of the housing market. Will it work, and how much will it cost you? Palin and the press. Democrats are accusing McCain's running mate of ducking reporters. But her first interview has just been announced with ABC News. And Curtain Call, how a rock opera about homelessness, drug abuse, and homosexuality revolutionized Broadway. This is the final night of Rent.
From ABC News headquarters in New York, this is World News.
Good evening, I'm Dan Harris. Here we go again. Another fierce hurricane is chugging across the Caribbean tonight. Ike, approaching Cuba as a Category 3 storm with winds near 120 miles an hour. Here's the forecast. The storm is going to hit Cuba, swing by the Florida Keys, and then possibly follow a path similar to Hurricane Gustav through the Gulf of Mexico toward Louisiana and Texas late next week. Today, Ike was hammering the Turks and Caicos and the southern Bahamas, destroying homes and turning vacation areas into disaster areas. And Ike brought more death and misery to Haiti, the poorest country in the hemisphere, still reeling from Hanna, Gustav, and Faye. Right now, hundreds of thousands of people are on the move in Cuba trying to get out of Ike's way, and a state of emergency has been declared in the Florida Keys, where people are evacuating. ABC's Steve Osunsami is in Key West tonight. Hey, Steve.
Good evening, Dan. This is the proverbial calm before the storm, but the fear here, of course, is that Key West will be under several feet of storm surge once Ike rolls by. All across Key West today, there was the sound of preparation. Hurricane Ike is forecast to come dangerously close to the Florida Keys, and it could be a strong one.
Well, any category, anything that comes through here, there's going to be some kind of damage. We're just hoping that it's not going to be major damage.
Authorities today took no chances and ordered a mandatory evacuation of the Keys.
We understand the inconvenience to the residents, to the tourists, to the businesses, but this one is just too close, folks. It's just too close to say bunker down and we'll be okay. We have to move forward with the evacuation.
Stacy Mitchell and other residents who have decided to stay have been warned.
I'm in for. I understand when they say there's a mandatory evacuation. If you choose to stay, you're on your own. I understand that.
The Rahming family has decided to listen to authorities. They're leaving in the morning and saying a prayer on the way out.
What are you praying for?
Still pressing and that it turns.
Or dissipate.
The forecast does call for the storm to dissipate, to lose strength as it passes over Cuba. But it also calls for the storm to move into the Gulf and feed off the warm waters, following nearly the same path as Hurricane Gustav, which struck Louisiana last week. In New Orleans today, thousands of evacuees from that storm were just getting home after being stranded for a week in Texas and Oklahoma.
I'm worried about Ike because it's too close between this evacuation. I think we're going to have more challenges evacuating if Ike comes our way than we did with Gustav.
They were already cleaning up. Now they're trying to get a month's worth of work finished in a few short days. The governor of Louisiana has already issued a state of emergency. Dan?
It's going to be tough to get people to evacuate again. Steve, thank you. That's Steve Osunsami in Key West tonight. This has been an enormously active year for hurricanes, and we're still 3 days away from the peak of the season. Ike will be the 6th consecutive named storm to hit the U.S. That's the first time that's ever happened. And a new study published in the journal Nature says global warming could make future hurricane seasons even nastier. Here's ABC's Ned Potter.
The researchers looked at satellite images, a record of all the world's oceans over the last 25 years. They said they did not see an increase in the number of storms, but the most powerful of them were getting stronger.
It's the greater intensity, higher wind speeds, specifically number of Category 4 and 5 hurricanes.
Those are the ones with winds over 130 miles an hour. The researchers think that as the oceans beneath them gradually warm, they provide more fuel for the hurricanes. Warmer water, higher winds.
I believe that in the next 20 years, we're going to see unprecedented hurricane activity in the North Atlantic.
But that point is strongly debated. Some researchers say a warming climate may worsen droughts and affect the polar ice caps, but the link to hurricanes is less clear.
There's a very, very tiny influence of global warming on hurricane, in my opinion.
Meanwhile, forecasters are getting better and better at predicting where hurricanes will hit. And when half the U.S. population lives within 50 miles of a coastline, that could mean fewer people evacuating, millions of dollars saved. Ned Potter, ABC News, New York.
The other big story today, the government seizing control of two of the largest, most vital players in the mortgage industry. If you have a home loan, there is a roughly 50% chance that either Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac is involved. But these two crucial companies have been dangerously weakened as home values drop and foreclosures rise. Here's ABC's Betsy Stark.
It is the largest ever takeover of a financial institution by the federal government in American history. But with home prices plunging and homeowners defaulting on their mortgages in record number, Treasury Secretary Hank Paulson said today the stakes were too big not to act.
Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are so large and so interwoven in our financial system that a failure of either of them would cause great turmoil here at home and around the globe.
Fannie and Freddie finance or hold about half the mortgages in the United States.
You'd have to look back to the days of the Great Depression to see such a huge government intervention with such major implications.
It was just 2 months ago that government officials assured the public Fannie and Freddie had enough cash to weather the storm. But today the government said the losses on the mortgage giants' books were a lot bigger than they knew.
The companies cannot continue to operate safely and soundly.
A mission all the more critical now, with private lenders so reluctant to lend in the face of rising foreclosures and mounting losses.
If you have no confidence in private institutions because you're worried about their ability to survive, you need someone like Uncle Sam, who nobody will question the ability to survive, stepping in and actually acting as a backstop.
Starting tomorrow, Fannie and Freddie will be placed in a government conservatorship similar to a bankruptcy. And for a limited time, the Treasury Department will provide as much money as the companies need to cover any losses and continue guaranteeing new mortgages.
It is going to cost taxpayers, it looks like somewhere between $25 and $50 billion, which is a lot of money. But it's certainly not as much as it would have been if these institutions were allowed to fail.
Part of the problem for the government and now for taxpayers is that Fannie and Freddie got way too big to fail. You've heard that expression. But under today's plan, they will, in the short run, get even bigger as the government gives them whatever cash they need to keep the American mortgage market going. Dan?
So if you're looking for a mortgage or if you have one, what impact, if any, is there from today's news?
Well, if you've got a fixed rate mortgage and you're paying it, nothing changes for you. If you're looking to get a mortgage or looking to refinance a mortgage, the best case scenario is that mortgage rates may go down for you if the government's takeover is successful in stabilizing the mortgage market and restoring investor confidence in the market.
A lot of people will be happy to hear that. Betsy Stark, our business reporter, thank you. Politics now. In the presidential race, ABC News can confirm that Governor Sarah Palin will grant her first major interview since becoming John McCain's running mate to ABC's Charlie Gibson later this week. McCain himself used to get along with reporters so well that he once jokingly referred to the press as his base, which has Democrats asking what is taking Palin so long to do an interview. ABC's David Wright is traveling with the McCain-Palin campaign.
And so it's not. Today, while Obama was on This Week, McCain was on Face the Nation. Biden on Meet the Press. The only one missing was Sarah Palin.
Eventually, she's going to have to sit in front of you like I'm doing and have done. Eventually, she's going to have to answer questions and not be sequestered.
Sequestered is too strong a word. Sarah Palin is visible. She's just not been accessible.
She is a charismatic speaker for sure. She wows the crowd, but she never deviates from the script. Since she joined the GOP ticket, Sarah Palin hasn't granted a single interview in broadcast or print, hasn't answered one question.
Well, maybe one or two shouted from the sidelines, and a couple of softballs from People magazine. but nothing serious. No press conferences yet. Today on Fox News, McCain's campaign manager insisted Palin has nothing to hide, but that the campaign doesn't want to feed her to the piranhas.
Until at which point in time we feel like the news media is going to treat her with some level of respect and deference, I think it'd be foolhardy to put her out into that kind of environment.
Some McCain voters understand that logic.
Because I think the media tries to eat you alive.
But it's a courtesy to the voters to answer
Well,
questions
she
and not
will.
simply
When
read
we
a
see
speech.
her on the debates, she'll deliver.
Palin has been riding shotgun on the Straight Talk Express for 10 days now, but the public has yet to hear her speak without a teleprompter. David Wright, ABC News, Albuquerque.
As David Wright mentioned, both Barack Obama and Joe Biden gave interviews today. And one thing that became pretty clear during those appearances is that the Democrats still have not settled on a strategy for responding to Sarah Palin. ABC's John Cochran has that part of the story.
Some Democrats may question Sarah Palin's qualifications, but Barack Obama did not want to go there today.
Well, you know, I'll let you ask John McCain when he's on.
With Republicans accusing Obama himself of lacking experience, he seemed uncomfortable when repeatedly questioned about Palin.
This whole resume contest that's been going back and forth is not what the American people are looking for.
Democrats are still trying to figure out how to cope with Governor Palin. Even Joe Biden, who is supposed to be the campaign attack dog.
She had a great speech, but her silence on the issues was deafening.
At this point, the Obama campaign is trying to get the focus off Sarah Palin and back onto John McCain and the present occupant of the White House.
He chose somebody who may be even more aligned with George Bush or Dick Cheney or the politics we've seen over the last 8 years than John McCain himself is.
For now, the Obama campaign, fearing a backlash, will not ask its surrogates, including Hillary Clinton, to launch an all-out bashing of Governor Palin. Instead, the Obama campaign will aim its heaviest artillery at McCain, while waiting and hoping that Sarah Palin makes a mistake. John Cochran, ABC News, Washington.
And coming up here on World News this Sunday, inside the Bush White House, revelations about Mr. Bush's leadership as the Iraq War spiraled out of control. Homeowners who can't afford their first home buying a second home to get out of debt. How does that work? We'll take a closer look. And the final curtain after more than 5,000 performances of an unlikely, very unlikely Broadway smash, the rock opera Rent.
This is World News, brought to you by Transitions.
In my work, I depend on my eyes to capture the natural wonder of this planet. That's why I wear Transitions lenses. They adjust to changing light and help protect my eyes from UV damage, like sunblock protects my skin.
Ask your eye care professional today about Transitions lenses. Purchase a pair of Transitions lenses, and you can register your certificate of authenticity online for a chance to win cash. And a donation will be made to eye charities through the Transitions Healthy Sight for Life Fund.
This is a Centrum multivitamin, complete from A to zinc. This is CoraWise, a natural ingredient that can lower cholesterol. Put them together, and you get Centrum Cardio, the first and only complete multivitamin that can lower cholesterol. Centrum Cardio.
Creamy, smooth, flavorful. The name, Silk. Smooth as. And it is.
Silk has soy protein, antioxidants, and omega-3s, plus all the calcium and vitamins A and D of milk. Silk. Take a sip forward.
They tickle, they tease, and you sneeze. Maybe it's time to ask your doctor about Singulair. While many allergy medicines block histamine, Singulair blocks leukotrienes, an underlying cause of nasal allergy symptoms. And that's how Singulair works differently. One pill, once a day. Side effects are generally mild and vary by age and may include headache, ear infection, sore throat, and upper respiratory infection. Singulair, a different way to treat allergies.
Want whiter teeth? Not sure what to choose? Crest White Strips is the #1 dentist recommended brand. We use the same enamel-safe ingredient dentists use. Satisfaction guaranteed. So what are you waiting for? The secret to a whiter smile is in the strip. Crest White Strips.
For years, low-dose aspirin has been a cornerstone of heart attack prevention. Now there's new Bayer with Heart Advantage. Ask your doctor about the only low-dose aspirin product that helps lower the risk of heart attack and lowers cholesterol. Be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin or modify an aspirin regimen.
So you're looking to lower your cholesterol.
Well, you're not alone.
Because millions of Americans are. So Cheerios gave away 1 million bowls of cereal. Why? Because Cheerios can help lower your cholesterol 4% in 6 weeks. Not long at all. Just 6 weeks. So join the challenge and get $6 in coupons at CheeriosChallenge.com.
Major battles among senior Bush administration officials, a spying program aimed at the Iraqi president. Those are some of the revelations in a new book coming out tomorrow from investigative reporter Bob Woodward, his fourth and final look at the Bush administration at war. ABC's Rachel Martin has the story.
The Bush administration is playing defense against allegations in Bob Woodward's book, among them U.S. spying on the Iraqi government.
There is significant surveillance of Maliki, and as one source told me, we know everything he says.
In response, Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice said the U.S. relationship with Iraq is open and transparent. The war within isn't as tough on President Bush as Woodward's previous book. Even so, he writes, Bush, quote, rarely was the voice of realism on the Iraq war and too often failed to lead at a time when violence in Iraq was at an all-time high.
Hundreds of people being killed a week, bodies laying on the streets, no schools, no services, people not going to work. The country was a standstill. The messages that we were putting out about the war were not reflective of what was truly happening.
Today, the surge is widely credited for quelling violence in Iraq, but Woodward says at first, President Bush was resistant to the idea of adding more troops. Keene says it wasn't just about more boots on the ground. It was about a new way to use them, getting U.S. troops out in neighborhoods, working alongside Iraqi soldiers.
Everything started to change once we earned the trust of the people. We were ill prepared for this kind of a war, and it took us a while to understand it and to fight it properly.
Even if the tide has turned in Iraq, no one is declaring victory, something unlikely to happen during the Bush administration. Rachel Martin, ABC News, Washington.
And we have a much lighter note today from the White House, where this afternoon Mr. Bush presided over the final T-ball game of his presidency. All the players in today's game were children of active duty military personnel. And coming up, the loophole that allows homeowners to buy a second home and walk away from the first one. That's our closer look.
During endless shrimp at Red Lobster, you can have something decadent with something crunchy, then something creamy, then something new. Like shrimp in a spicy Cajun butter sauce. And after that, you can do it all again. It's endless shrimp. Indulge in endless choices of your favorite shrimp dishes. While the shrimp are endless, this offer isn't. Come in now for the best value of the year at Red Lobster.
All around the world, men with erectile dysfunction have taken 36-hour Cialis. Today, men can also be ready with another dosing option, Cialis for daily use, a clinically proven low-dose tablet you take every day, so you can be ready anytime the moment is right.
Tell your doctor about your medical condition and all medications, and ask if you're healthy enough for sexual activity. Don't take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Don't drink alcohol in excess with Cialis. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease or loss in hearing or vision, stop taking Cialis and call your doctor right away.
36-hour Cialis or Cialis for daily use. Ask your doctor if a Cialis option is right for you. So when the moment is right, you can be ready.
Talk about a wake-up call. I had a heart attack at 57. My doctor told me I should have been doing more for my high cholesterol. What was I thinking? But now I trust my heart to Lipitor.
When diet and exercise are not enough, adding Lipitor may help. Unlike some other cholesterol-lowering medications, Lipitor is FDA approved to reduce the risk of heart attack, stroke, and certain kinds of heart surgeries if you have several common risk factors or heart disease. Lipitor has been extensively studied with over 16 years of research. Lipitor is not for everyone, including people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant.
You need simple blood tests to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor if you are taking other medications or if you have any muscle pain or weakness. This may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect.
I learned the hard way, but you may be able to do something.
Have a heart-to-heart with your doctor about your risk and about Lipitor.
On this day, when the federal government announced the takeover of the mortgage giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, we're going to take a closer look at one way some homeowners are ditching supersized mortgages that are causing them financial pain. They found an unlikely solution, buying a second home. ABC's Neil Karlinski explains.
Until a few weeks ago, this was Jim Ebel's dream home. It's empty now. He owes the bank more than it's worth, and he's facing foreclosure.
It's tough to come back here now.
And this is Ebel's new home. That's right, new home. Hard as it is to imagine, with one house going under, his solution was to buy a second house at a bargain price and walk away from his old house.
We have to rebuild our credit. That's the only downside of doing this.
Some call it buy and bail, a growing trend in the hardest hit real estate markets. It works like this. Ebel owes $334,000 on his first house, a house now worth only about $219,000 and dropping. With his adjustable rate mortgage doubling to more than $4,000 a month, Ebel can't afford the payments. So before the bank forecloses, he takes advantage of dropping prices to buy a new home for $285,000 with a fixed rate mortgage he can live with. Once inside the new home, he either sells the first property for a huge loss to the bank or walks away completely and lets it slip into foreclosure. Foreclosure, of course, wrecks a person's credit, but the people who are willing to do it, who are willing to walk away, say even that high cost is worth it because they have little choice. But how do these people get a loan for a new home? Well, in many cases, they tell the bank they plan to rent the first house, or they put the second home entirely under a spouse's name.
Desperate people do desperate things, and again, we're at a point now where the relationships between the borrowers and the lenders really seems to have devolved into a survival of the fittest mode.
We're going to have a clubhouse right here.
Kim Hinsky just bought a new $280,000 house as a way to get out of the home her family can no longer afford.
Yeah, it's a scary thing, but I know that my family's taken care of because we have another house, bigger house, and a mortgage that's less.
It is an extreme solution for thousands of desperate homeowners, and one more huge problem for an already overburdened banking industry. Neil Karlinski, ABC News, Las Vegas.
Some lenders call the buy and bail strategy deceptive, even fraudulent. Fannie Mae has imposed stricter guidelines for approving a second mortgage, and others are expected to follow. And coming up here, Rent takes a final bow after 12 years. How a rock opera that started in a hole-in-the-wall theater revolutionized Broadway.
25,600 minutes.
The first time I had Silk, my boyfriend said, "Oh, I found this. It's called Silk. I think it looks kind of good. Let's give it a shot." We literally sat down like we were in the taste test and ate it with our cereal. It was good. It was cold. It was good in the cereal. It gave kind of like the bland, healthy cereal a little bit of like a, you know, like a little bit of personality. It is such an easy thing you can do to start getting healthier.
Silk has soy protein, antioxidants, and omega-3s, plus all the calcium and vitamins A and D of milk. Silk. Take a sip forward.
Introducing an Applebee's neighborhood value, Endless Favorites. Endless riblets, chicken fingers, or panko-crusted shrimp. Your choice, all you can eat, starting at $9.99. Endless Favorites starting at $9.99, only at Applebee's. It's a whole new neighborhood.
I was getting heartburn 2 or 3 times a week, and it was causing disruptions in my life. My doctor recommended I take Prilosec OTC, the #1 doctor-recommended OTC acid reducer. Now heartburn won't keep coming back. Try Prilosec OTC.
Take away the crowds, the chants. All that's left are costly words. Barack Obama and out-of-touch congressional leaders have expensive plans, billions in new government spending, years of deficits, no balanced budgets, and painful tax increases on working American families. They're ready to tax, ready to spend, but not ready to lead.
I'm John McCain, and I approve this message.
Burning, itching.
I should have used Preparation H.
And for extra relief, use Preparation H medicated wipes first. Unlike most ordinary wipes, they relieve while you clean. Then use maximum strength cream. Preparation H, the relief expert.
Should a man over 50 take the same multivitamin as a woman?
I don't think so.
One a day men's 50 plus advantage. The only complete multivitamin with support for prostate and heart health. Plus more ginkgo for memory and concentration. Nice. From One a day.
Nobody put more into meatloaf. And she baked magic into every pie. That's how grandmas show their love. Marie Callender's does it with the tender white meat, thick gravy, and mashed potatoes in her country fried chicken dinner. And now introducing a new take from Marie. 4 exciting new recipes like creamy chicken and shrimp parmesan and marinated beef and broccoli, all from Marie Callender's.
Tuesday, how can this bionic woman feel her missing arm when you touch her chest? What baffling condition left this woman with a giant foot? And what happened to this chiropractor's brain that turned him into a successful painter? Watch Primetime's Medical Mysteries Tuesday.
Finally, a few blocks from us tonight on Broadway, the curtain falls for good on Rent after 5,140 performances. Rent leaves a remarkable and improbable legacy. This rock opera about drug abuse, homelessness, and AIDS not only became one of the longest-running musicals ever, it also changed Broadway. Here's ABC's Gigi Stone.
525,600 minutes.
That's exactly the number of minutes in a year. The song's message, appreciate every minute as it comes. For the past 12 years, fans of the musical Rent have been relishing every minute of the show.
There's success, and then there's Rent. Young people especially see themselves in the show.
And that's why this rock opera, which started at this tiny hole-in-the-wall theater, eventually became credited with revolutionizing Broadway, because it attracted an entirely different kind of audience. Different than the crowds drawn to the G-rated Cats and Phantom of the Opera.
We're not gonna pay.
Based on Puccini's La Boheme, Rent was about struggling artists in New York tackling controversial issues.
To marijuana. It's like the Great White Way is not ready for homelessness and drug abuse and homosexuality.
Emotionally, they responded. They loved the characters.
It resonated across cultures. 200 live productions around the world. In fact, before it closed today on Broadway, the curious crossed oceans to check it out.
You came all the way from Taiwan to watch Rent?
Yes.
We've flown all the way from Sydney, Australia.
And yet, the one person who missed Rent's meteoric rise was the show's creator. The night before his play performed for the first time, 35-year-old Jonathan Larson died of an aneurysm.
God knows how many more great shows, great songs he would have written if he had lived.
A stark reminder of the show's message. Live for today and savor every minute.
525,600 minutes.
Gigi Stone, ABC News, New York.
525,000.
And if you want another fix of Rent, don't worry, a national tour will kick off next year. And that does it for World News on this Sunday. I'm Dan Harris. For all of us here at ABC News, thank you for watching, and good night.
Tuesday, September 23rd, ABC brings the game show to your home. The only thing you need to know is everything about your family.
The game is on!
ABC's Opportunity Knocks premieres Tuesday, September 23rd, 8/7 Central on ABC.
Next here on Eyewitness News at 6, gunfire at a local birthday party. One man is shot and killed. Now authorities are asking the public for help in finding the gunman.
Also, a tragic end to the hunt for a missing man in our local mountains. What led search crews to the body of the missing man?
Plus, O.J. Simpson's robbery trial set to get underway this week in Las Vegas. Can we expect some surprises?
Plus, Danny's back to work week forecast.
Eyewitness News at 6 next.
It's Anna's fantastic fall sale. Our prices are falling throughout the store, like 200 thread count sheet sets. At department stores, they're $20, but at Anna's, they're just $7.99. That's a savings of 60%. So hurry to Anna's Linens today.
Hey, man, what's up with the cord?
Well, it's a nice day out. Thought I'd come over here with my cable internet.
You know, if you had AT&T, you'd get high-speed internet service at thousands of hotspots for